All right, KDog, this is an informal review because you wanted it private. We are going to put it on Discord. You said that was okay. You're representing your team, Team Skunk Dothomir, so that's awesome. You're a level 76, which means you're brand new to the game because really it takes only about 4 months to get up to level 85, 4 or 5 months, something like that. So you've been in for less than 6 months, obviously. You look relatively free to play. I've looked at your roster, and it looks like you're really free to play, which is cool. And you're also low level, so this hopefully will help somebody else in my patrons who are going to be able to watch this privately. But overall, I mean, I think for being free to play and new, you're doing really, really well. As far as your main team, you've got Stormtrooper Han in there and your Biggs Wedge combo with Wedge as the leader and Lando. Excellent. If you need a little more speed because you're free to play and you don't have enough speed, you could always put Lando in lead. He'll give everybody some additional speed. That might help your Stormtrooper Han. And I would pull Admiral Akbar out. I would probably pull Admiral Akbar out for, Boba Fett, someone like that, because Boba Fett's just going to do a lot more damage. He's got ability block, so he might, in essence, help you a little bit more with carving up through the ranks. But all in all, as far as how well you're doing, you're in the top, 2% of your shard, and so that looks excellent. So it looks like you're pretty focused on this arena. I looked at ships, and it looks like you really haven't had to do much for your fleet rank. You're 280, which is decent, but it doesn't look like you've really spent and focused any time on ships. So we'll go into ships in a minute, and I definitely want you to focus on ships, and there's a bunch of reasons why. So I'm going to be a little bit lighter on your inventory on what you should be focused on. So really quick, there will be 7 characters I'm going to recommend you farm, but I'm going to go through the basic pillars for free to play, the basic pillars of the game. The first is going to be your rebels. You should have a good rebel team. And so your top 5 are who I would recommend. You can continue to develop them. So as far as your rebels go, I would continue to develop them until you can get your Emperor Palpatine to 7 stars. You have him at 5 right now. I would get him to 7 stars. And I would continue to develop Admiral Akbar since you're using his home one ship, your Biggs and Wedge, and your Lando and Stormtrooper Han. All of those 5 I would highly recommend continuing to develop on the side, until you can get your Emperor Palpatine to 7 stars. The next kind of cornerstone, if you will, of this game is Empire. And in the Empire, I would really recommend you working on, the top 3, which is TIE Fighter Pilot because of his ship and just because he's amazing, Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader. The good news is Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader are both extremely easy to gear in comparison to all the other characters in the game. So those are 2 characters I would definitely focus on. And then as far as, like Jawas or droids, you have B2 unlocked, and I would highly recommend continuing to gear him and level him up. He's going to be very helpful as a disruption character against the newest meta that we're dealing with, which is the Sith, which is where your focus kind of lies. So that's pretty cool. And then let's just look at Jedi really quick. All right, so Yoda is 5-star, and you're looking at getting him 7-star, and you've got the top 5 are already at 7 stars. So all you need to do is gear them up a little bit more to get them up in level. Now let's go ahead. Now we've kind of gone through some of the basics and of the factions. I wouldn't have you focus on a specific faction per se, although you seem like you're kind of Sith centered right now. You're using Sith Assassin, Sith Trooper, Darth Vader, Darth Nihilus, and Count Dooku, and you have Emperor Palpatine in there. Those 6 are excellent, and even at like 3 stars, a lot of these characters are viable, like Sith Trooper and Darth Nihilus and Sith Assassin. So you could make a Sith team up, and it would be probably pretty amazing. So if you wanted a faction to kind of have fun with, it looks like you're already highly focused on the Sith, and that they're fun. They don't hold defensively as well as some other teams, but they do carve through teams pretty fast, and Sith Assassin doesn't have to be too fast to make the rest of the team be really fast. So Sith Assassin's really your key if you want to make it fast. But so this is the faction if I was going to do it. Otherwise, these are the characters that I would have you focus on. So we're going to go ahead and go through the top 7 characters I would have you focus on. So the first is IG-88. You do not even have him unlocked, but you need IG-88 because you do not even have 5 scoundrels, and you need at least a 5th scoundrel for that last level. I believe they need 5 scoundrels for that last level, and so I would get IG-88. Now, the other good news is IG-88 is extremely easy to gear. So like I said before, if you want to gear a character quickly, these are going to be characters that are easy to gear and get you up there. So the first one would be IG-88 to get your scoundrels on point. So the next 2 I would have you do is out of Empire is Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine, and they're both extremely easy to gear. So IG-88 easy to gear, Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine easy to gear. The other one is TIE Fighter Pilot. He's in here and he'll be someone you can focus on in ships as well. The last 3 that I would have you focus on is the B2, which you already have at gear 6, 4-star. Sun Fac for his dark side ship, as well as he's a great disruption character. He's one of the best tanks in the game. So I would recommend getting Sun Fac leveled up. That would really help a ton. And the last one is in your Jedi, and he's just a great character to have, is Jedi Knight Anakin. Eventually he'll probably get a ship, but if not, he's still a phenomenal character. He can do kind of what B2 does, which is buff immunity, but on a single target. And so those would be the ones I would recommend: IG-88, Darth Vader, Emperor Palpatine, TIE Fighter Pilot, Sun Fac, B2, and Jedi Knight Anakin. As far as your fleet, you're doing well. You're relatively new to ships. I mean, that just barely unlocks at 60, and you're only 76, so you've only been playing ships for a little bit, but I would focus on them. These are the top 10 ships that I would focus on if I were you: Biggs, Wedge, Jedi Consular's ship, Ahsoka's ship, which you have both of, and 5s for the 5 light side. And for the dark side, I would recommend getting Boba, Geonosian Soldier, who you have, TIE Fighter Pilot, who you have, and then Sun Fac and First Order TIE Pilot. So there are 6 ships in total that you should farm. Half of them you can farm out of Galactic War relatively quickly. The other half you can get through your ship shipments. Now you're going to have to divide up your ship shipments. If there's any characters you're going to want to collect, you're going to have to make sure that you divvy up the ship currency half and half. But I would definitely recommend you focusing on Boba Fett's ship and Sun Fac's ship and First Order TIE Pilot ship, because you're going to want to get the Zeta materials, and those 3 ships are needed to get your Tarkin ship leveled up enough to be able to do the Zeta challenge. And then on the Zeta challenge, you'll be able to use your top 5. But Biggs and Wedge and 5s for the light side ships you really need to focus on. And on dark side, Boba Fett, Sun Fac, and First Order TIE Pilot. I hope that these 7 characters, IG-88, Darth Vader, Emperor Palpatine, TIE Fighter Pilot, Sun Fac, B2, and Jedi Knight Anakin, are going to help you in the future. And if you have a faction you really want to focus on, it's the Sith. And as far as ships go, I hope that Biggs, Wedge, 5s, Boba Fett, Sun Fac, and First Order TIE Pilot help you out. So those are the focuses I would have. Those are the things that are the least amount of gear requirements to do, and these are the people that if I were in your shoes, I would focus on. Again, for your arena team, you could throw in your Sith to see how well they do. They might get you higher than 150, but if not, I would at least put Emperor Palpatine in place of Admiral Akbar to see how well you do with the stuns and whatnot. So anyway, KDog, thanks for being a patron. I appreciate you. I will keep it private on YouTube, so that way only other patrons are able to watch it. Thanks. Keep gaming on. Warrior out.